So my debut novel of the Blanchard Witches series came out a few years ago. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because I'm about to release the 5th book. So for anybody out there who has not yet discovered the Blanchards, you're in for a treat. So I'm going to brag on myself for just a second. I'm sorry, I'm proud of it. This first book in the series won right here's the little sticker, the NYC Big Book Award. It also won a BookFest Award, a National Indie Excellence Award, and it was featured in Times Square on the big billboard. So I was very proud of that. Like with any ongoing fantasy saga, there's a beginning and an end. But in my case, with the Blanchard Witches, when we pick up with the first book, The Blanchard Witches of Daimler County, you're coming into the middle of an ongoing story. Things are pretty peaceful. Stuff has happened in the backstory, which you learn about. But where you begin, Olympia Blanchard is a woman in her late 70s, living in her ancestral home with her family. Her family consists of 2 adult daughters, Artemis, who never married and never had children, and Demetra, who is a widow and has 2 adult daughters. Her eldest daughter, Beryl, is a renowned doctor in town, and Beryl happens to have the power to heal deserving people, which makes her a really good doctor. Fable, her youngest, is a veterinarian, fitting because she has the power to communicate with animals and they with her. Now, I told you that Artemis never had children, but she did raise 2 children. You see, there's a third daughter of Olympia. Her name was Nakara, and Nakara is not in the first book. She has been cursed for a crime she committed 20 years ago, and the Witches Association punished her for it. She tried to kill the wife of her lover. Well, that lover produced 2 children with her, and their names are Seth and Salem. They are also grown. Seth is kind of a professional college student and gym rat. He's only worried about fitness and shirking school. Salem is a pretty sought-after advertiser living in Atlanta with her husband and their infant son. Artemis raised both of them because their mother was taken away when they were very small. Now, there are some other important characters in the story, one of which is the youngest granddaughter of Olympia's, who is technically not a Blanchard. Olympia's 3rd husband was Randolph Sinclair, a very rich industrialist. The backstory with their marriage is pretty funny. They fell in love in a court battle when Olympia was trying to save some land. But Sinclair is dead as the Blanchard Witches begins, and Yasmin is his granddaughter, Olympia's step-granddaughter. And she came to live with the Blanchards when she was very young after her own parents and brother were killed in an auto accident. Olympia's best friend, Madame Zelda, is the town psychic and palm reader extraordinaire who gets all of the gossip on everyone in town because she's reading their fortunes and you can hide nothing from Zelda. Zelda is the comic relief of the story, and she is a treasured friend of Olympia. They've grown up together. They have a lot of backstory together. They used to fight supernatural elements in their youth, and the grandchildren are often regaled with stories of their glory days. The other important character is Howard Caldwell. He is a longtime friend of the family, an ex-beau of Artemis, and he handles all of the Blanchard finances. Yasmin works as his assistant, even though technically she is wealthier than he will ever be thanks to her grandfather's money. But she's a very simple girl, very modest, and she just loves being useful. Well, now that you know who the main characters are in The Blanchard Witches of Daimler County, the first novel in the Blanchard Witches series, join me in the next video while I give you a little bit of plot teasers of what you can expect in the first novel.